Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. An atomic habit is a regular practice or routine that is not only little and simple to perform, but also a source of incredible power. It is a part of the compound growth system. Bad behaviors repeat themselves not because you don't want to change, but because you're using the wrong change system. If you're willing to continue with little, seemingly insignificant changes for years, they will compound into extraordinary benefits. The compound interest of self-improvement is habits. Forget about making goals if you want better results. Instead, concentrate on your system. Focusing on who you want to become rather than what you want to attain is the most effective strategy to modify your habits. The 4 laws of behavior change are a series of simple guidelines for developing improved behaviors. 1. Make it clear. 2. Make it appealing. 3. Make it simple. And 4. Make it satisfying. Human conduct is shaped by the invisible hand of the environment. The Surprising Power of Small Habits, Chapter 1. Success is a result of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations, says the author. Your current trajectory should be significantly more important than your existing results. Your results are a lag indicator of your habits. Your net worth is a lagging indicator of your spending patterns. The weight you carry is a lagging indicator of your eating habits. Your ability to learn is a lagging indicator of your learning practices. Your clutter is a lag indicator of how well you clean. You reap what you sow. The difference between success and failure is magnified over time. Whatever you feed it, it will multiply. Time becomes your ally when you have good habits. Time is your enemy if you have bad habits. It's all about the outcomes you want to reach when it comes to goals. The procedures that lead to such outcomes are what systems are all about. All you have to do to anticipate where you'll wind up in life is follow the curve of modest earnings or losses and observe how your everyday decisions compound 10 or 20 years down the road. Breakthrough moments are frequently the consequence of a series of preceding activities that have built up the potential to unleash a huge shift. It's not because you've lost your ability to improve if you're having trouble forming a healthy habit or breaking a bad one. It's usually because you haven't yet crossed the plateau of latent potential, as James calls it. People will call you an overnight success when you finally break through the plateau of latent potential. The goal of goal setting is to win the game. The goal of constructing systems is to keep playing the game. Long-term thinking without a goal is true long-term thinking. It isn't about a single achievement. It's all about the never-ending cycle of refining and progress. Ultimately, your growth will be determined by your devotion to the process. The compound interest of self-improvement is habits. In the long term, getting 1% better every day counts for a lot. Habits have 2 sides to them. They can either work for you or against you, so knowing the specifics is crucial. Until you exceed a key threshold, small modifications may appear to make no impact. Any compounding process, most potent results are delayed. Patience is required. An atomic habit is a small habit that belongs to a bigger system. Atomic habits are the building blocks of astonishing results, just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules. Forget about setting goals if you want better results. Instead, concentrate on your system. You don't reach the level of your ambitions. You stoop to your system's level. Chapter 2, How Your Personality is Shaped by Your Habits, and Vice Versa. Changing our habits is difficult for 2 reasons. 1, we attempt to alter the wrong thing, and 2, we attempt to modify our habits in the incorrect manner. A change in your outcomes, a change in your methods, or a change in your identity are the 3 layers of behavior change. What you get is what you get. Processes are concerned with what you do. What you believe determines your identity. The focus of outcome-based habits is on what you want to achieve. The focus of identity-based habits is on who you want to become. When a habit becomes a part of your identity, that is the greatest type of intrinsic drive. It's a 2-step process. First, decide what kind of person you want to be. Demonstrate it to yourself with tiny victories. Ask yourself, who is the type of person who can help me achieve my goals? The most effective strategy to modify your behaviors is to focus on who you want to become rather than what you want to attain. It's your habits that give you your identity. Every move you take is a vote for the person you want to be. Becoming the best version of yourself necessitates a constant revision of your views, as well as an upgrade and expansion of your identity. The main reason habits are important is that they can influence your views about yourself, not because they can help you obtain better results, although they can. Chapter 3, 4 Simple Steps to Developing Better Habits. Ask yourself this question whenever you wish to improve your behavior. What can I do to make it clear? What can I do to make it more appealing? How can I make things as simple as possible? What can I do to make it more satisfying? A habit is a pattern of conduct that has been performed often enough to become automatic. The ultimate goal of habits is to address life's issues with the least amount of energy and effort. Any habit can be deconstructed into a 4-step feedback loop: cue, yearning, reaction, and reward. The 4 laws of behavior change are a collection of simple rules that can help us develop better behaviors. 1. Make it clear. 2. Make it appealing. 3. Make it simple. And 4. Make it gratifying. The Man Who Didn't Look Right, Chapter 4. If you're having difficulties deciding how to grade a habit, ask yourself this question: does this behavior help me become the type of person I want to be? Is this habit supporting or opposing my chosen identity? With enough experience, your brain will be able to detect cues that predict specific events without having to think about it. We cease paying attention to what we're doing once our routines become natural. Awareness is always the first step towards changing one's behavior. Before you can change your behaviors, you must first be aware of them. By verbalizing your activities, pointing and calling elevates your degree of awareness from a non-conscious habit to a more conscious level. Using the habits scorecard to become more conscious of your behavior is an easy exercise. Chapter 5, The Most Effective Way to Begin a New Habit. Make it obvious is the first law of behavior change. Many people believe they are lacking motivation when, in fact, they are lacking clarity. According to the Diderot effect, acquiring a new possession frequently triggers a consumption spiral that leads to more purchases. One of the most effective strategies to form a new habit is to identify an existing daily routine and then stack your new behavior on top of it. This is referred to as habit stacking. After current habit, I shall, new habit, says the habit stacking formula. Time and location are the 2 most common cues. An approach for pairing a new habit with a precise time and location is to create an implementation intention. I shall, behavior, at, time, in, location, is the implementation intention formula. Habit stacking is a strategy for combining a new habit with an existing one. After current habit, I shall, new habit, says the habit stacking formula. Chapter 6, Motivation is Overrated. The environment is frequently more important. The invisible hand that shapes human conduct is the environment. Over time, small changes in context can lead to big changes in behavior. Every habit begins with a cue. Cues that stand out are more likely to be noticed. Make healthy habit indicators visible in your surroundings. Over time, your behaviors become connected with the complete environment surrounding the activity, rather than just a single trigger. The context takes on the role of the cue. When you're in a new setting, it's simpler to form new habits because you're not fighting against previous cues. The Secret to Self-Control, Chapter 7. The first law of behavior change is made invisible by inverting it. Once you've created a habit, you're unlikely to forget it. People with strong self-control spend less time in settings that are enticing. Avoiding temptation is simpler than resisting it. Reducing exposure to the trigger that creates a negative habit is one of the most practical strategies to break it. Self-control is a short-term approach, not a long-term one, says the author. How to Make a Habit Irresistible, Chapter 8. Make it appealing, says the second law of behavior change. The more appealing a chance is, the more likely it is to become a habit. Habits are a dopamine-driven feedback loop, says the researcher. When dopamine levels rise, so does our desire to act. It's the prospect of a reward, not the actual fulfillment, that motivates us to act. The dopamine surge is proportional to the level of anticipation. One method to make your routines more appealing is to bundle temptations. Pairing an activity you wish to do with an action you need to do is the strategy. Chapter 9: The Influence of Your Family and Friends on Your Habits. The culture in which we live impacts which actions we find appealing. We have a strong need to fit in and belong to the tribe, therefore we prefer to embrace habits that are applauded and approved by our society. We have a proclivity to copy the practices of three social groups: intimate, family and friends, many, tribe, and powerful, those with position and prestige. Joining a society where, 1. You can establish better habits is one of the most effective things you can do to acquire better habits. The desired behavior is the norm, and, 2. You already share something with the community. The tribe's regular conduct frequently trumps the individual's preferred behavior. We'd rather be wrong with the mob than right by oneself most days. We find it appealing if a conduct will gain us favor, respect, and admiration. Chapter 10: Identifying and Correcting the Source of Your Bad Habits. The second law of behavior change is made undesirable by inverting it. Every action has a surface-level desire and a deeper underlying reason, says the author. Your behaviors are contemporary responses to old wants. The prediction that precedes your habits is the cause of your habits. Emotion arises as a result of the forecast. To make a poor habit seem unappealing, emphasize the benefits of avoiding it. When we identify habits with happy sensations, they are attractive. When we associate them with bad sentiments, they are repulsive. Make a motivation routine by doing something you appreciate right before a challenging habit. Walking slowly but never backwards is the 11th chapter. Make it easy, says the third law of behavior change. Practice, not preparation, is the most effective method of learning. Don't worry about being in motion, focus on taking action. The process through which a behavior becomes increasingly automatic via repetition is known as habit building. The number of times you've executed a habit is more crucial than the length of time you've done it. The Law of Least Effort, Chapter 12. The law of least effort governs human conduct. We'll automatically choose the alternative that involves the least amount of effort. Create a climate that makes doing the right thing as simple as possible. Reduce the friction that comes with positive behavior. Habits are simple to form when friction is minimal. Increase the abrasion caused by improper behavior. Habits are difficult to form when there is a lot of friction. Set the stage for future acts by priming your environment. Chapter 13: Using the 2-minute rule to stop procrastinating. Every day, there are a few moments that have a significant impact. These small decisions are referred to as decisive moments by James. The alternatives accessible to your future self are determined by decisive events. Before a habit can be improved, it must first be established. Habits can be formed in a matter of seconds, yet they have an impact on your behavior for minutes or hours. Many habits emerge at pivotal moments, choices that send you in one of two directions, productive or unproductive. According to the 2-minute rule, starting a new habit should take less than 2 minutes. The more you ritualize the start of a process, the more probable it is that you will be able to enter the deep attention required to do great things. Standardize first, then optimize. It's impossible to improve a habit that doesn't exist. How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Chapter 14. It's tough since the third law of behavior change is inverted. A commitment device is a decision you make now that will result in better behavior in the future. Automating your habits is the ultimate approach to lock in future behavior. One-time decisions, such as upgrading your mattress or enrolling in an automatic savings plan, are one-time activities that automate future habits and provide rising returns over time. The most dependable and effective strategy to ensure the appropriate behavior is to use technology to automate your routines. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Chapter 15. Make it satisfying, says the fourth law of behavior change. When an experience is pleasurable, we are more likely to repeat it. The human brain evolved to value immediate gratification above delayed gratification. The cardinal rule of behavior change is that what is rewarded promptly is repeated. Avoid what is swiftly penalized. If you want the habit to stick, you have to feel successful right away, even if it's in a minor way. The first 3 laws of behavior change: make it evident, appealing, and simple. Increase the likelihood of a behavior being completed this time. Make it satisfying. The 4th law of behavior change increases the likelihood of an action being repeated next time. How to maintain good habits every day, Chapter 16. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a valid measure, says Goodhart's law, named after the economist Charles Goodhart. The feeling of progress is one of the most rewarding feelings. Like marking an X on a calendar, a habit tracker is an easy way to measure whether you did a habit. By providing obvious evidence of your progress, habit trackers and other visual kinds of measurement can make your habits more gratifying. Make sure you don't break the chain. Attempt to maintain your habit streak. Never make the same mistake twice. If you miss a day, attempt to make up for it as soon as possible. Just because something can be measured doesn't imply it's the most essential. How an accountability partner changes everything, Chapter 17. The 4th law of behavior change inverted makes it unsatisfying. If a harmful habit is painful or unsatisfying, we are less inclined to repeat it. An accountability partner can put a price on an action right away. We care a lot about what other people think of us, and we don't want them to think less of us. Any activity can be made to have a social cost by using a habit contract. It makes the consequences of breaking your obligations painfully visible. Knowing that you're being watched can be a great incentive. When genes matter and when they don't. Chapter 18, The Truth About Talent, when genes matter and when they don't. Choosing the correct field of competition is the key to maximizing your chances of success. Choose the appropriate habit, and development will be simple. Life is a hardship if you pick the wrong habit. Genes are difficult to change, thus they provide a significant advantage in favorable conditions and a significant disadvantage in adverse situations. It's easier to form habits when they're in line with your natural skills. Choose the habits that are most beneficial to you. Choose a game that emphasizes your strengths. Create your own game if you can't find one that suits you. Genetics don't take away the necessity for hard work. They make it clear. They tell us what we need to focus on. The Goldilocks Rule, how to stay motivated at work and in life. The Goldilocks Rule suggests that humans are most motivated when they are working on projects that are just above their current capabilities. The greatest threat to achievement is boredom, not failure. As habits become routine, they lose their appeal and satisfaction. We get tired of it. Anyone who is motivated can work hard. It's the ability to keep going when things aren't interesting that distinguishes you. Professionals stick to their schedules, amateurs get distracted by life. The consequences of developing good habits, Chapter 20. The benefit of habits is that we can perform tasks without having to think about them. The disadvantage is that we cease noticing little faults. Mastery equals habits plus deliberate practice. A practice of reflection and review allows you to be aware of your performance over time. The more we hold to a sense of self, the more difficult it is to evolve beyond it. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.